we are going to get started. So, welcome everyone to another amazing week of Yeshiva. Woo, yeah. That's right. This week, pre-Shavuos, pre-game, getting ready for receiving the Torah, which is really exciting. And Torah, it's what we do as Jews. It's our line life. It is literally what makes us us. Without it, we are nothing. So I asked tonight one of our scholar in residence, one of the low-key, most brilliant advisors in Torah. Yep, she is quiet, but has a big mouth when it comes to Torah. Is that a compliment? I don't know. Without further ado, all the way from West Hempstead, from the hood, I'd like to welcome Aviva Masasasasasasa.
Woohoo, Aviva! Hi, guys. It's so nice to see everyone. I miss you all so much. Mazel tov to everyone on here who just got on regional board. It's actually a lot of you. So, Mazel tov. It's so exciting. So as Avi mentioned, this week...
Yeah, you were on regional board also, no?
What?
Weren't you on regional board in New York?
I was, yeah. Not the same. But good memory. This week, Shavuot is coming up on Thursday night and Friday night. Exactly, Talia. And Shavuot is the holiday of receiving the Torah, right? This was the day a lot of people stay up all night, learning Torah all night, because Shavuot is the day of receiving the Torah, and we want to take that all in as much as possible. So on different holidays, we read different books from the Torah. On Purim, we read Megillat Esther, right? That makes a lot of sense because the whole story of Esther was the whole story of Purim. On Shavuot, I'm not even sure if you guys know what we read. On Shavuot, we read Megillat Ruth, which doesn't have such a direct connection necessarily to Shavuot, like some other things that we read on other holidays do. So there are multiple different reasons given for why Megillat Ruth is read on Shavuot. I just heard a really interesting reason from Rabbi Aryeh Cohen, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I feel like it fits in well with kind of a little bit of what's going on now. So the story of Ruth, just like a really, really short summary, is that Ruth is from Moab, which is a different country, not a Jewish country, and she marries into this family of Naomi, who are Jews, and they're really, really wealthy people, and they end up, really, really short summary, the person she marries ends up passing away, and his brother passes away, and Naomi, her mother-in-law's husband, passes away. They all pass away because they sin against God, and they don't help the Jews when the Jews are poor. Instead of helping the Jews in Israel, they actually go away and leave Israel and go somewhere else. So Hashem ends up punishing them, and they all die. But Ruth is left with her other sister-in-law and her mother-in-law, and the other sister-in-law chooses to leave, but Ruth and her mother-in-law choose to come back to Israel. Even though they're now poor and downtrodden, they left Israel really, really wealthy and high up there, and now they just lost everything. They lost, Naomi lost her husband and her two sons. Ruth lost her husband and her brother-in-law and her father-in-law. They lost everything. They're poor, they're downtrodden, and they choose to come back to Israel. And then the rest of the story of Ruth goes that she ends up marrying somebody else in Israel, and David HaMelech, King David, ends up coming from Ruth because she's considered, Ruth is a convert, first of all, and also she's somebody who chooses to follow Hashem and chooses to come back to Hashem, even though she didn't really have to. Like, her husband, who was Jewish, who she married, died, but she chooses to come back. So Ruth is obviously the main person of this story. But Naomi, her mother-in-law, is kind of like her sidekick, like also a really important person in the story. And it's very interesting because Naomi's name, the word Naomi means like calm, and everything is calm and good. It means pleasant. But if you think about Naomi's life and what she went through, it's not really so pleasant. Naomi was rich, she was wealthy, she was doing amazingly, and her husband sinned, but she also kind of sinned. They all sinned by choosing not to help out the other Jews and choosing to leave and run away. And they all sinned, and that's why the rest of her family passed away. So she also sinned. And she ended up having a really hard life because of it, right? She ended up becoming poor, her husband, her family, everybody died. Why is Naomi called pleasant? And what does that have to do with the story of Ruth and why it's read on Shavuot? So the interesting idea I heard was that the reason Naomi is called pleasant. And the reason Naomi comes up in this story is because Naomi is somebody who sinned. She did. She got really, really low. She lost everything. She lost everything. And instead of just dealing with that loss by just going lower and lower, she chose to get back up again. Because the next thing Naomi did after she lost everything was that she returned to Israel. She returned to Israel. And it says in the story that everybody was kind of looking at her like, what is she doing? She was so wealthy and well off when she left. Now she's coming back all downtrodden, poor, gross. That could be really embarrassing and that could be really hard. She also could have chosen to just stay where she was outside of Israel and live with her daughters-in-law in a more wealthy lifestyle. But she chose to drop everything and come back to Israel, come back to Hashem, and get back up again after literally falling to the lowest of lows. And that's a message that we could get from Shavuot, and that's a message that we could get from the Kabbalah Torah, receiving the Torah, which is what we did on Shavuot. Receiving the Torah is not necessarily about the moments of inspiration. It's not necessarily about the highs, the time that it's going really, really well. But it's about that time that it's not going well and it's hard and we're in a really, really low place. And even so, we choose to get back up again. That is the message of Shavuot. That is the message of receiving the Torah. So Naomi was really, really low, but she got back up again. She wasn't high the whole time. But because she went so low, because she sinned, and even after all of that, she chose to get back up and chose to return to Hashem and chose to become better. She's still called Naomi. She's still called pleasant because that's the most pleasant thing to Hashem. The most pleasant thing to Hashem is to be able to get back up again. There's a quote, a Hebrew quote, Sheva yipol tzadik v'kam. A tzaddik, a righteous person, will fall 7 times and get back up again. What does that mean? That means that a tzaddik, a righteous person, a real righteous person is not somebody who's always on a high. A real righteous person is somebody who will fall and he'll get back up again. And he'll fall again and he'll get back up again. And he'll fall again 7 times. 7 is just a number. It could be so many more than 7 times. But every time he falls, every time he feels downtrodden, every time he sins, he doesn't let that bring him all the way down. Rather, he gets back up again and tries again. And that is what makes a person a righteous person. What makes a person a righteous person is the fact that he's able to get back up again. So we've all had our moments of inspiration. On TJJ, we had our moments of inspiration. We shout at TJJ. I think for a lot of us, the time period we're going through right now had ups and downs. I don't know about you, but in the beginning, it was like, okay, it's really hard, but Mashiach is coming and let's learn and do as much as we can. I was very inspired in the beginning when coronavirus just started, when everything was going crazy around me. I felt very inspired and I felt like Mashiach was coming and I felt like I wanted to do more. And then weeks passed and it got harder and harder and we got into the routine of basically doing nothing all day. And it just got more and more difficult. And I'm just speaking personally for myself. I don't know if you guys felt similar experiences. I did kind of fall a little bit. But Shavuot is there to remind us that accepting the Torah is about getting back up. It's about, even when we've fallen, whether we fall on our couches or whatever it is, whether we got into something and then kind of just lost it. It's been a long time where we've been at home really doing nothing. Whether something difficult happened in our lives. I know there are a lot of difficult things happening right now, and it's just a really, really hard time. These things could really tear a person apart. These things could really cause a person to just fall lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. But Hashem is telling us during this time, come accept the Torah and come back to me. Get back up. Because that is the most pleasant thing. That is what Hashem is waiting for. Shavuot is considered a holiday where we are getting married to Hashem. I don't know if anybody has ever heard this mashal, this parable that compares Shavuot to a marriage between us and Hashem. When we accept the Torah, we're marrying Hashem. What do people say in their marriage vows? People in their marriage vows say, through thick and through thin, through the good and the bad, through the hard times and the easier times, through everything, we're always going to stay together. And that's what Hashem is telling us right now. He's saying, I know you had your moments of inspiration, and I know you had the moments that got really, really hard, but I'm always here for you because this is a marriage between us. And through thick and thin, through whatever happens, I'm here And I'm waiting for you to come back, and I'm waiting for you to come closer to me. I'm not giving up on you. So hopefully we can take that message from Naomi, from the story of Ruth that we read on Shavuot, and accept the Torah again. Get back up. Whatever we're going through, don't let it get you down. Even if you're not going through anything, if you just feel like kind of blah about everything, Hashem wants you to get back up. That's what Hashem loves. Hashem loves when we're able to take whatever difficulty we have and get back up. And Shavuot, this time period right now, is a really, really good time to do that. Renew our marriage with Hashem. Remember our vows with Hashem. Remember that Hashem still loves us through thick and thin, through everything, and He's just waiting for us to come back to Him and become closer to Him. It was really, really nice to see you guys. I'm so, so happy to see all your faces.
Thank you so much.
Aviva, we miss you. I missed you all too.
All right. And I want to mention, of course, that our words of Torah are dedicated to Lilu Nishmas, Shalom Dovber Ben Yosef. Thank you, Aviva, for coming out here tonight. If anyone wants to review, you can find it on YouTube in a little bit. Without that, I'm going to post the links for tonight's shiurim